Hello and welcome to another episode of Pipe Corner, where tonight I'm going to be continuing my series on There's a Pipe for That, while I smoke a Latakia tobacco in my Latakia pipe. Good evening out there, everyone on YouTube land. I am James of Cigar and Bar, and I am back in the hut today on a very unseasonably warm and unseasonably rainy February day. But it is nice and dry inside of the hut, and I'm looking forward to having a nice smoke. Today I'm going to be smoking one of my pipes I've had the longest. It is a beautiful custom piece that was made and gifted to me. It is an antler pipe from Nomad Pipes. I have been able to find very little about them in the last 2 years. I'm not sure if Nomad Pipes is still making pipes, but I've got this one and I love it. It is an antler pipe with a acrylic stem. This one was featured in a video I had up a while back, and I'll put the link up above here, on an episode on softy bits, and this one has a custom-made clear softy bit, so as not to detract from the color and texture of the stem. And this one also has a very nice little feature, a matching antler pipe tamper, which fits the rather wide bowl very well. So I use this frequently when I'm using this pipe. So let's get into some Latakia today. Now, very few tobaccos are actually officially considered a Latakia tobacco. The title usually is an English blend, because English blends are heavy on Latakia as well as frequently Turkish and Oriental blends, and so you get different flavors in there. I did get my hands on a jar a while back, a couple sample ounces of the Cornell & Diehl Latakia, which I've had in my collection since 2019. This is something that they do not recommend smoking all on its own, because it's very strong in Latakia, and it's also very boring. It's a one note. This is the 100% Latakia that they use to blend Latakia into their blends. And so I thought it would be great to have some on hand in case I wanted to add a little bit of that smokiness to my blends. Now, what is Latakia? I'm going to open up this one here, and we're going to get some jar notes. That is the best way I would describe Latakia, and this is a perfect example of it. It is smoky campfire. It smells like burning wood and campfire. It's great. Whenever I am pining for the campfires that I enjoy in the summertime, a nice Latakia blend is a good thing to reach for. Their warning aside, I have smoked that straight, and it is one note overpowering Latakia. I feel no need to do it again. Been there, smoked that. So, moving on. The other tobacco that I was considering for today's video was some of the McBaron Latakia rolls. I have misplaced not only my jar, but both backup tins that I had of that tobacco. So I'm going to have to try to get some more. But either way, that would have been a little redundant considering I did the McBaron Stockton Spun Cut last week. So I wanted to break out of that pattern and try something very different. So today, I've settled on this jar of Cornell & Diehl Star of the East Flake. I'm going to go over what's in the Star of the East Flake, but suffice to say, the thing that drew my attention to it in my notes is that this blend is 50% Latakia. As per tobaccoreviews.com, Star of the East Flake from Cornell & Diehl, 1/2 Cyprian Latakia with a generous portion of Izmir and sweetened stoved red Virginia. For years, Star of the East has been one of C&D's best-selling English blends. This is a full-bodied English of 50% Latakia blended with Turkish and stoved with red Virginia and then pressed into flakes. No flavoring, flake cut, Latakia, Oriental Turkish, Virginia, English blend. So this is a very Latakia heavy. This is not my favorite Latakia tobacco. I think I mentioned in the last video that I do have a favorite, and I'm not going to be smoking it in this video because I want to do another video on that one specifically. But for now, I'm going to be having this lovely C&D Star of the East. It has aged well for the last 4 years. It is still moist, which is something to be said for properly jarring your tobaccos. my tamper here. It's a little firm. And I've noticed, and I'm concerned, the connection point here between the bowl and the shank, it's getting loose. I can see a bit of daylight through the adhesive that was used. I'm not sure what to do about that, but I do know that once it warms up, it expands and it stays firm. So I'm never worried about it. The bowl is dropping off. It may someday, and I'll be very unhappy, but that day will not be today, hopefully. I'm also unsure with this particular pipe. I've had it for a long time, but I've never really looked up any information on it. If antler is closer to briar or to meerschaum when it comes to humidity levels or when it comes to caking on the inside. So I know that you're not supposed to have any cake built up on the inside of a meerschaum pipe because the meerschaum can take the heat. But I don't know about the antler, whether it's closer to briar. Is it's more bone mineral than anything else. It's not wood. So I really don't know. I try to keep it fairly clean. I've never scraped the cake right back, and I've also chain smoked in this pipe a number of times, and it does never really seem to be a problem. Nice thick walls, really nice shape in the hand. You can see it's got an irregular shape at the bottom and an irregular shape at the top, which if you turn it just the right way, it sits in the hand really nicely. Unfortunately, at that particular orientation, it's a difficult angle to hold and smoke. You're not holding it like that, which would be easier to smoke. It's around here, but it does make it nice to hold for conversation and for making what I like to refer to as pipe points. Oh, come on. This thing is very not right with this. What the hell is going on? Ow! Well, that didn't go so well. Well, that was just about the worst thing that could happen. I managed to snap the acrylic stem off the end of my pipe. And luckily, it's just a little bit off the end, and it has been more of a tapered friction fit. So I can pull that bit out that came off the end and taper down the snapped end on the stem so that it'll fit in. It'll just be another up to maybe a half an inch shorter. It'll still work just fine. But the show must go on, so I've got another pipe here that I kind of hemmed and hawed about including this one when I discussed this in previous videos, where I said I had a pipe that was kind of earmarked for English blends, which is kind of the same as the Latakia blends. But this is a pipe that I got a long time ago. This is just a Capri Churchwarden. It's a bin pipe. It's nothing special, but I like it. It's served me well in the past. This is another pipe that I've also broken because the mouthpiece broke, so I filed down the cracked portion of the mouthpiece, and now it's got a much smaller mouthpiece. I'm not having luck with English pipes. It's just bad luck these days. But I am going to take the tobacco out of my Nomad Antler bowl and pack it in here so we can get some notes on this particular tobacco. While I'm packing this, I'll just say that if you're looking for a place, this isn't a product placement, this is just a suggestion from me for in the area. If you're looking for a place to repair pipes, they do have a pipe smith that does repairs at Victory Cigars in Oshawa, Ontario. So they're a good kind of local brick and mortar, and I have had a pipe fixed there before. My grandfather's pipe, which when I inherited it, the acrylic stem was cracking all around the mouthpiece, so I had them craft a whole new lucite stem for me, and I love it. So I'm going to be, next time I'm going through there, I'll stop by and I'll drop this pipe off and get it fixed. And I'll be happy to feature this on a video in the future to talk about that kind of repair work and just to show off how good a repair they can do. I'd like to do this earlier, but let's get some jar notes here. Smoky, campfirey, because it's 50% Latakia. But also sweet and raisiny. That red Virginia is really doing a lot of heavy lifting on the nose. It's really nice. I don't have a lot of pipes that, I should finish that sentence since I do have a lot of pipes. I don't have a lot of pipes that I can really look into the bowl when I'm puffing on it. And this is one of them. And every time I see those embers kind of flare up, it reminds me of the scene in Lord of the Rings when they're looking at Aragorn / Strider in the Prancing Pony Tavern in Bree, and his eyes are lit by the flaring of the tobacco in his pipe bowl, the embers in his bowl, and I just love that scene. I love that look, and I always think of that whenever I can see it happening for myself. That is nice. I say nice a lot. I should come up with some better words. I feel like I'm losing a lot of the kick to this because of the long stem. It's coming through into my mouth quite cool by the time it's finished traveling down that length of stem. Well, it's picking up now. As it's getting warmer, I'm getting that Latakia, I don't want to say spice, but anything else I can say that's not spice is just an adjective for spice. A piquantness, a sharpness. There is like a spiciness in the nose, and it's very nice. It's also got a very nice creamy mouthfeel. A little bit sweet. It's very creamy, like a creamy root beer. I keep saying that I think that tobacco tastes like root beer. I don't know if that's just me, or if I just really like root beer, or if tobaccos really do taste like that. It's like everything tastes like chicken. Well, every tobacco, not every, but many tobaccos I taste, I get a root beery flavor off them when it's a kind of tobacco I really like, particularly when it's got this kind of Latakia in it. Joining me in the hut today are my two contenders for next week's video, which is the Aromatic Tobacco. I've got my jars of Captain Black Grape and Sutliff Molto Dolce. As I've said before, two most divisive aromatic blends I could think of. The ones most likely to split a crowd. So I'm going to renew my call for you out there in YouTube land to put a comment below on this video or any of my other There's a Pipe for That videos to say which one of these two you want me to smoke for my aromatic video. I can't recall off the top of my head what I thought of this last time, but it's seeming very one note to me this time. And every time I think it's getting dull, I puff and I puff and I puff, and that flavor ramps right back up again. So this tobacco likes to heat. It likes to be smoked hot to give you lots of flavor. There's another pipe that's great for holding under a crooked finger there, just puffing away. Particularly because this bowl, I know when I get it going, and as I am for this particular tobacco, as I'm smoking it hot, because it tastes better hot, it gets quite warm to the touch. So I do like to hold it over the stem. Well, this bowl's almost done because it's a much smaller bowl than the pipe I was going to smoke tonight. And I don't want to add any more to this bowl, and I don't want to grab a third pipe for this video. That seems a bit excessive. So I'm going to leave you here, and I'm going to wish you all a happy weekend, and I'll see you next week. Please comment below with your choice of either Cat Black Grape or Molto Dolce, and I'll have something else for you to watch me smoke in the There's a Pipe for That series next Saturday. I am James of Cigar and Bar. Thank you for joining me on Pipe Corner. Cheers.